I was in high school, but I went there with another musical artist. You might be black cousin, man. You might be black cousin. I was in Mariah Carey.
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the interview.
Blessings, big blessings.
What's your name?
Naj Mahal.
Naj Mahal. Where do you get that name from?
Good question. My cousin gave it to me in the Lower East Side. He basically just said, like, listen, you do things to make people remember you. So I'm gonna call you Naj Mahal, which reminds him of the Taj Mahal because every time, we went to Atlantic City, one thing you always remember is the Taj Mahal. Like, if you could name one thing in Atlantic City, it's the Taj Mahal. So he was like, yo, your name is Naj Mahal. I just ran with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which comes from my first name, Najee, which means complete in African Arabic. So definitely. Yeah.
Right. Where you come from?
I was born in the Lower East Side, Manhattan, Madison Street, Valdeck Projects. I grew up in the Bronx as well too. I grew up in Brooklyn, and I grew up in Left Rack City, Queens as well too. So I was just basically all over the whole city, from Harlem to Washington Heights, but born in the Lower East Side, Manhattan, and grew up in the Bronx mostly.
Okay, so you basically New York City.
Yeah, the whole New York City, the whole town. Feel me? All the towns. You feel me? All the boroughs, everywhere in the city. It's a fact.
So, how did New York shape you as a child?
Oh, as a child? Oh, man.
Because I know New York is hectic sometimes.
Right.
I know it can get crazy.
Most definitely.
So, I know growing up as a child, it definitely showed you some things at a young age.
Oh, no.
So I want you to elaborate on all of that.
All right, so in New York City, it's a fast-paced place, right? So with that being said, everything is happening very fast. Like you could be walking to school, someone's getting robbed, You could be walking to school and someone is buying a building. You know what I'm saying? So you have different levels of things that's going on at the same time in New York City, which is wild. But how it shaped me was being able to see both aspects of life and see it in many perspectives. So it gave me the opportunity to make a decision and say, hey, how do you want your life to be? You know what I'm saying? Because you see what that's about and you see what this is about. So what fits you? What suits you? And I chose the life of prosperity just because when I seen people being prosperous as a kid and doing different things and, creating, I was always drawn to that. Like I grew up seeing violence, I grew up seeing drugs, I grew up seeing a whole bunch of things, but I wasn't drawn to that. That was more so that's what I don't want. So what I do want, I'm only focused on that. And when you're a kid, you're using your imagination at its highest level. So I'm imagining buying my mom my house and having a lake with the turtles and the fish in the back, you know what I'm saying? So with having both perspectives in life and seeing what this is and what that is, it carved me out to be the person I am today.
Okay. So growing up as a kid, you had all of these paths that you could have gone down and seen daily.
Right.
But you focused on the one thing that you wanted, which was prosperity.
Right.
So with that being said, everything was around you, but being that, you still kept forward with the dream and the goal.
Exactly.
And that taught you things because it was like, you might go talk to the person on the side of the road selling drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You might go talk to that person that just got robbed.
Right.
You might encounter some of these things.
Right.
So it's teaching you how to move in a fast-paced environment as well as it's keeping you on your journey. Because it's showing you what you don't want.
Exactly.
So with that, how did you get into the music? Like what inspired you? Like what was the first thing that happened with music ever in your whole entire life?
That's a great question. So it's so amazing because I can still remember the smell in this place I'm about to describe, in the situation I'm about to describe. I was a young kid and I was in the park with my mom. There was a young lady in the park, and this is in the Lower East Side, Manhattan, you know, around the way where I'm from, Madison Street. So the lady asked my mom, like, hey, that's your kid? And my mom was like, yeah, that's my son. She's like, oh, you know how it goes. He's handsome, says that. She said, oh, thank you. So she tells her there's this new artist coming to shoot her video. You know, he would definitely be a great fit for her. So she's like, oh yeah. She's like, yeah. Her name is Mariah Carey. You know, she's a new artist. You know, this is her first video. So I was like, oh, okay, no problem. Where's it going to be? She's like, oh, right here in the Lower East Side, which is basically a couple blocks up, not too far, at a church. So I don't remember the photo shoot, but I do remember the day of the video shoot because I remember being in the cafeteria, and I just remember smelling this aroma of incense, and it was just an incense that I never smelled before, and it was just very unique. And I just remember being in the cafeteria and I took someone's hat and started dancing, and they just grabbed me and put me in the video. So I was in Mariah Carey's very first video called Make It Happen, which gave me that sense of energy and reflection of who I was going to be, you know, what my journey was going to be like. I know as a kid, you know, you're not thinking about your profession or anything like that, but what you see and what you're doing or dealing with at that moment, you're going to live in that, plus more, you know, by using your imagination. So by being there, you know, I was just able to see what I may want for my life as a kid, which was a true blessing. So that's what gave me the energy to actually make music. That was like that was the start of it. But when I realized that I love to make music and be creative in music, was hearing Missy Elliott and reenacting Missy Elliott's record.
How old were you when that happened?
I was about 8. About the Missy Elliott?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 8. About 8. Yep.
Okay. So how many years in between the video shoot to when you decided to?
4.
So 4 years.
4 years.
Okay. So did you have any like role models or mentors or musical influences that you looked up to consistently? Started when you were 8, like when you started doing that shit and you figured out what you have your passion for?
Oh yes, most definitely. Pardon me. Most definitely. I would say Missy Elliott, of course, LL Cool J, Biggie, and then as I got a little older, that came into Pharrell and Kanye. So that group right there was like the inspiration for me. That was the inspiration to say, hey, oh, life is so possible, anything is so possible, especially when you do it in your own unique way. So that's what I've seen in those artists. They were all unique. They were not the same at all, none of them. So with that being said, the uniqueness is everything about a person. So that's what I dove right into. Like, it was that right there. Those 5 right there for sure.
Okay.
Consistently. Yeah.
Who was your favorite out of all of those? If you like, I know all 5 were cool and influenced you heavy, but who was like the number one? Like, if you could listen to anybody for the rest of your life at that time, Who was it?
Kanye.
Kanye. Why?
Kanye has, pardon me, a energy I've never seen before. He is so unique. Sometimes I feel like he don't know how unique he is. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but it's just, you know, when you're out on the outside looking in, you're viewing someone and, all right, let me say this. I have this thing, right, where I can see people's truest gifts, whether you want to believe it or not. But I can see past what a person is, if that makes sense. And from the moment I listened to Kanye or even seen Kanye, I knew he was a genius. And once I seen his second elevation, which was even late registration, that's how I knew, like, this is a guy I should pay attention to, because he understands who he is. He knows that he's the artist, he knows he's the producer, he knows he's the designer, he knows he's all of these things above, and he never cut himself short. He always spoke highly of himself, and I love that. And he wasn't humble about being him, you know? And I've never seen that in other artists. So Kanye would definitely be my number one for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So how did you get started in music? Like when was your first record you ever made?
So I went to Humanities High School between 8th and 9th Avenue on 18th Street in Manhattan, New York City. So I was talking to this young lady, and I walked into her class, and I realized that she had a music class. So I was like, yo, you got a music class in here? She was like, yeah, we have a studio, like a studio in here too. I'm like, get out of here. That same day I found out they had a studio, I ended up staying in the class and just telling the teacher, like, hey, I'm just waiting for my new program card, you know what I'm saying? But my guidance counselor sent me here just to, you know, get my music credit up. And he went for it for like a week. He went for it for like a week, and then it came to a point, he was like, yo, look, man, you gotta get your program card. So like, I can't have you in this class if you don't got no program card, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man. So, you know, I could have just let that been a thing. I was just there, you know, and he told me to get a program card, and I could have left it alone. But with me being me, I went straight to my guidance counselor, and I'm like, listen, Ms. Matt, shout out to Ms. Matt. Bless you, Queen, wherever you are, bless you. I was like, Ms. Matt, there's this music class in here, and I need this class. She said, for real? You really want to be in there? I said, yeah. She had my program card switched the next day. That's how real Miss Matt was. You feel me? Like, true queen. Like, love that lady. You feel me? She made things happen as a guidance counselor. If they had guidance counselor awards or shit, she needed Miss Matt. You know what I'm saying? But, so she changed it, and I came back, and that next week, we had to do a class assignment, and we had to make a song. So I ended up just making a song, and you know, I had to do it in it was like 5 different groups of 3, I believe. So it was me, a guy, and a girl, and I ended up writing my verse, the other guy verse, and the girl verse. That's a fact.
Now, were you writing before any of this happened? Were you like
no
messing with music, freestyling, writing poems?
No.
You weren't doing nothing.
No.
You were just watching cartoons and just being a kid, doing your thing.
I was just being a teenager, like, cause this is high school at the time.
Yeah.
And I was rocking with the girls, like, you know what I'm saying.
So from 8 to this day, and this week that you had in the studio, I never
wrote a song. I've never wrote a poem. I've never tried to freestyle. Never.
So where would you say this comes from? Because this doesn't happen for no reason.
Oh, you know. And
right. To be able to write your verse, the dude's verse, and the girl's verse, and you've never written a song before?
Right.
Where do you think this comes from?
It comes from I want to be clear on this. It's destiny. See, destiny is like a woman. You can't control it. You feel what I'm saying? So destiny is already given. Like, you can't control what's destined for you. So anything that's destined for you, you don't even have to try. You don't even have to learn. It's like your destiny learned it for you, and it's given to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where it's unexplainable. It's just like, it is what it is. Like Robert Kiyosaki, like, he's like, yo, what would you do for free? If you could do something, what would you do for free? You know what I'm saying? He's like, yo, give out information. You know what I'm saying? All day, every day. Like, because information is information. Like, you know what I mean? And that's how I give back. And doing music, I would do that for free. Like, I do it for free. I've done it for free. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love music. I can't explain. Like, I even tried to walk away from music before, but then it came right back to me. So it's like, it's just me. I'm a musical instrument. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I realized. Like, that's something that just came from, it's a gift from God. Like, it's just a gift from God. You know? And I could have ignored it, but I paid attention to it. You know? It was something that was given to me. I didn't ask for it. I didn't say, hey, I wanted to do it, but I just was just intrigued about the music class. You know? Like, I was just intrigued. And yeah, I always took chances with anything. So that's what it was too. I was that kid that always took chances. I never just looked at life for what it was. I was always creating how I wanted my life to be. Even in times when I probably wasn't supposed to do it, but that's what life is about. Life is about breaking barriers, you know? So, yeah.
Now, to jump back to the week that you were doing the record.
Yeah.
How many records did you do after that? Were you in the class every day just making music, or how did that work? Like, because I know how school is, and I know they're not gonna allow you to have the gates wide open all the time.
Right. I made one song, and after that, I practiced writing, but it's so weird. I didn't like writing. I didn't like to write. It was like one of those things that it was fun. It was easy to do. It was easy. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really care to write. You know, it was more of like a feeling thing for me. But I did write in the beginning because that's what I just know. That's how they do. That's how they make the music. You gotta write the song. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just going off the aesthetics from what I knew. What was the question again? I'm sorry, bro.
Damn, I forgot. Because you were saying some good shit right there.
Yeah, I know.
I forgot.
I know.
But that's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. It's all good.
So, did you have anybody, like, that was, like, a mentor to you? Or, like, your friends, like, did you show them the music? Like, how did, like, you really get into this music shit? Like, cause I know you was in school, but like, did you have anybody outside of school that had studios? Did you know anybody that made music? Like, how did this all happen?
Okay.
Because after school, a lot of people would just leave it at school.
No, you're right. You're right. You good. You actually, you might be black cousin, man. You might be black cousin. Yo, you might be black cousin. That is a great question. Okay. So let me put it like this. I was in high school. Same high school, humanities. But I went there with another musical artist as well. And he was making music already. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when we first met, we was, you know, I had on Pirelli shoes, whoever knows about Pirellis. And he had on John Richmond's. And we was just complimenting each other's shoes, like style of fashion, you know what I mean? And he ended up telling me like, yeah, bro, I do music. I'm like, what? He like, yeah. He let me hear the song he had on the CD. I'll never forget he had it on the CD. And he had the name of it on the CD, which I just thought was dope. And
do you remember what the name was of the song?
Yeah, CEO. Song's called CEO. It was a fire record, boy. When I mean fire, I ain't never hit. Listen, someone just like that you just meet, I like, and not on no, you know, because when you hear music on CD, and you hear music such and such and such, you know what I'm saying? Music on CD, music on such and such and such. You like, yo, this is a superstar artist. You know what I'm saying? But when you hear somebody that you might have met and they bringing it like somebody you may hear on the radio, you like, wait, hold on, this is hard. Which is like amazing. And we in high school. You know what I'm saying? Like we in high school. This is major. This is major. Like to me, it was major. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about what I said about Kanye earlier. Like even he didn't realize like how good it was. Because when I told him, I'm like, yo, bro, you gonna blow up. The first time I heard it, and he like, what? And I'm like, yeah. But then he made me question what I was saying, like a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because he didn't believe it at the time. You know what I'm saying? Because we in high school, and that was like his first song, I believe. But yeah, I'll never forget too. Shout out to Jose Mijas. Blessings, King. Shout out to you, Jose, because he made the beat. Jose made the beat, and he had Ludacris sample on there. Picture on me. I'm the goddamn reason you in VIP CEO. You ain't got a CID. What? Like that? He chopped that part. Oh man, that record was crazy. Still today, I still haven't heard a record like that. I'm gonna be so honest.
Wow.
I'm being so honest.
Right.
I'm being so honest. I gotta keep it real all the way. You feel me? Till today, even he hasn't made a record like that. You feel me? So like it's like, yo, I just remember hearing it and I'm like, yo, you gonna blow. And that just gave me the energy and the motivation to want to make music. So after that, that's when I started dipping and dabbling a little more and listening to beats, freestyling. You know what I'm saying? Writing, seeing what I like. And then I realized that I like to freestyle more than write. You know what I'm saying?
So when you met him, how did that relationship like start? Did y'all go to the studio together? Like how did that all play out? Because when you met him and he showed you the song, like, and you said it was fire, like, right. I know there was something there because it's obvious, like, something's gonna happen right there. Like, yo, this is destined to happen.
Right.
So, how did that relationship build?
Well, you know, we became like brothers, basically. Like, you know, just like any two guys in high school that's rocking the same way, you know what I mean, getting fly. You know what I mean?
So y'all was hanging out every day. Huh? Hanging out every day.
Yeah.
So like after y'all met, y'all just started y'all clicked
We
and
clicked.
then y'all started just hanging out every day.
We just clicked.
Okay. So how did he introduce you to the studio, or did he?
No, he didn't introduce me to the studio, but what he did introduce me to was like back at that time in New York City there was like a street lifestyle, which was like teams, right? So in different boroughs there were different teams. Feel me? And you was really known for being in the team. You know what I'm saying? It was like the NFL, NBA, New York City, just being who you are. You feel what I'm saying? So he introduced me to that lifestyle as far as like meeting different people and around the people that's doing the same thing, being creative and such and such and such. You know what I'm saying? He introduced me into that, and then I pretty much after that kind of found my own way, if that makes sense as well too. Because again, I'm from the Lower East Side of Manhattan. I grew up around that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So seeing that was like, it was regular. Not even being in Soho, chilling in Soho. I went to school in Soho. I went to St. Patrick's. So none of that was new to me. But everyone else is from uptown. So uptown people, I'm telling them like, oh nah, I'm from down here. Because they know me from being from the Bronx. But they don't know my whole history. You see what I'm saying? So it was just a correlation there automatically. So it was never like anything far-fetched. You feel me? That he was even showing me or I was showing him. See what I'm saying? So everything kind of like just merged, like natural. If that makes sense. Like, go to his house, you go to my crib, you bag some joints, whatever the case may be. It's like go shopping. Like it's just brother shit.
Y'all just doing brother shit.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying? Like
being in high school and just doing your thing. Teenagers doing your thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And then it came to a point where he was still making music, but I kind of just basically started doing my own thing because we didn't make music together. We just became friends. You know what I mean? It wasn't about us making music. It was just we was just friends. Like it wasn't like, you gonna make music together. It wasn't like that. It was just that it was like a mutual inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Which is very beautiful too, because it was no conditions. It was just a mutual respect. You know what I'm saying?
Now growing up in New York at this time, did anything crazy happen to you? Like, do you have any like crazy stories or like anything? Like you might have got robbed, you had to run from people, fight somebody, like just all the time?
Everything. I mean, not all the time, but one thing gonna happen. Like one thing out of those 10, 5 or whatever is gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Just being in New York City. Like for example, I remember standing at the bus stop at 16 and had this MD, had a phone called MDA, and it flip up Windows phone. Like $500 phone. Long story short, guy asked me like, yo, you know what time it is? I'm like, hold on, let me see. By the time I'm about to tell the time, he snatched my phone and ran with the crackhead legs. You heard? You heard? It was no way I was catching him. You heard? You heard?
He was gone.
He was gone. So,
He was gone.
you know what I'm saying? I remember one time going to a barbecue. Somebody walking up the block, they just got the machine gun and they just start letting off the machine gun. They right there. Like how we just, you understand? So like anything can happen in New York City. Like it's so many things that can happen in New York City, but those are the things, some of the craziest things that has happened. Like it's more, but if you only could imagine.
We'll do part 2 for that.
Yeah, like you can only imagine. I get more in depth, but yeah.
So going through all of that, how did that shape your music? Like, what were you talking about, like, in your music? What was your message at that time? Like, how was your music? Because I know going through those things, you tend to talk about it or, do other things, whatever.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Just seeing what was going on around me just gave me the inspiration as well too. You know, again, with knowing what you want and what you don't want. So back then, I grew up in a place called River Park Towers, right? River Park Towers is a place where, it's 4 buildings. It's 4 buildings. There's like one way in, one way out. You know what I'm saying? So you can only imagine, like if you put if you could just think of a place where it's like secluded from everything else, and it's the same world, and I'm sure, many people can relate. But that would make you use your imagination. Being in a place that it's like false hope, you know what I'm saying? And poverty, you have to use your imagination. And, being in poverty and seeing it drove me to talk about what I seen and also talk about what I want. So it wasn't like an exaggeration thing where I'm like, yeah, I got the yacht and I'm on the yacht with the models right now and $1 million in the back and a bottle right now. It's $1,000 flat. Like I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you the layout. Like, yeah, I've been through this, I've been through that, but that don't make me. What make me is what I'm getting to and what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? And how I'm creating my reality. So I didn't fabricate it. It was the same kind of music I'm making now, which is inspirational, motivational, but just at an early stage. You know what I'm saying?
So making music, doing your thing at this early age, did you have any jobs? Were you working? Like, what was your situation with that?
Pardon me. I had a job since I was 16.
Okay. So how were you balancing the work and studio life?
Basically, I knew I wanted to make music, so I just made sure like I was there. I mean, that's a great question because I real quick, let me jump out of myself. Like, I realize people, they complain a lot when they want to do something. I never understood that language. I never understood if you want something and you want to do something, you just do it. You don't complain about this and that. So I didn't know how to look at it no other way. I was just like, yo, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. Or, okay, I work from this time to this time. Well, do I studio available at this time? Yes, it is. All right, cool. I'll be there. Life is already hard. So it's like, I'm not trying to make life more difficult than what it is. If I'm building my life to be this way, I'm gonna make sure I'm doing it. I'm gonna make sure I'm doing it. I'm gonna make sure I'm just doing it. I'm gonna make sure I'm not making the excuse. I'm gonna make sure I'm not looking for an excuse or opportunity for an excuse. I'm just doing it. I don't know how to be anything else. I've been like this all my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless what was in front of me, whether it was a job, an obstacle, my girl getting on my nerves, whatever the case may be, I always showed up and showed out every time. Ask about me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I show up and I show out. You feel me? I show up and I show out. This is the business I told myself I was going to be in. So if I told myself I was going to be in this business, then I got to be the business. I got to be the business. So that was always my mindset. It was like, just do it. You know what I'm saying? I wish I would have just trademarked the just do it shit before Nike, but that's all I was doing. I was just doing it. Like, I wasn't doing nothing else but just doing it. I didn't know nothing else.
You were just making it fit however you could.
I didn't know nothing. What else I'm supposed to do? I don't know what else to do but to do it. And that's why I don't have pity for people that make excuses. I'd be like, all right, that's on you. Like, it's not on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to do something and you not showing up for it. That's not on me. That's on you. Like, you know what I mean? Don't tell me you want to do something and you not showing up for it. So it's like, that's not on me. You know what I mean? So my thing is like, again, I don't understand that language. I always just showed up and showed out. And that's how I still do. Show up and show out.
Okay. So you were just freestyling everything.
Oh yeah,
you just go in the booth. And
I just go in the booth. I've been doing that. Yeah.
So like after you stop writing in high school, you just freestyle. You just said screw the writing.
Screw the writing.
We're gonna just freestyle.
We're just gonna freestyle. We're just gonna go up the film.
So how do you record a song? Like, do you just close your eyes and just like the words pop up, or like how does that work? Like what do you do?
So that's another great question. So, it's a feeling. Sometimes I do close my eyes. Sometimes my eyes are open. But it's all about the feeling, though. I said in the record, with me and LYB, I said, I don't need to see just to feel. I can feel, I can see. I don't need to see to feel. If I can feel, I can see. So it's kind of like when I do close my eyes, it's like I'm seeing the whole visual aspect of the movie I'm about to create right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at this. I look at creation like a movie. You know what I mean? You want it to be the best movie. You want it to look good. You want people to see it and understand it for what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing. Like, you know, I talk to the music gods as well too. You know what I'm saying?
So you're tapping into the higher power, and then you're tapping into your own feeling.
Exactly.
And fusing it together.
And fusing it and becoming one with it. Oh, if you want to know how to do that, I could teach you.
Do you have a link for that? Like,
It's no link.
You have a Patreon, like
there's no
DM. Like how do these people?
There's no Patreon.
How do the people contact you?
You can't get it through the DM. This is all in person. The only way you can get this, and understand this is in person. You know what I'm saying? And it can't be explained. I can't explain it to you because I won't explain myself to you. I will only show you. You understand? And if you get it, you get it. You don't, you don't. It's not up to me. Just like when God shows you a sign, and if you get it, you get it. You don't, you don't. That's not up to God. That's up to you as the human.
So you was talking about a movie. Would you say your life is like a movie?
Oh, my life is definitely like a movie. Why? Let me explain why. My life is very magical. It's super magical. Sometimes it's so magical, sometimes I had to stop not realizing how magical it is. You know what I'm saying? And by me knowing that, I know these magical things are always happening. So I'm always looking forward to being magical. I'm never looking forward to being any less than what I am. I'm always looking forward to being me or more than me, never less. So even if, for example, even if I make a mistake, right? No, it's not less of me now. It's more of me because I'm able to know about that mistake I learned. I'm able to know. Now I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. Because now if I see that mistake again, I'm not gonna jump back down here to the mistake. You know what I mean? Only grow from it, you know? So, same concept.
What are some obstacles you've faced throughout your musical journey so far?
Many. Dealing with promoters, dealing with other artists, dealing with producers, engineers. That's just the start of it. But everything has been great. And those obstacles, right, only will teach you something. It can teach you how to not have obstacles, or those obstacles, whatever ones you face. You know what I'm saying? So let me give you one for example, right? Maybe this was wrong to do, but it is what it is. It happened. So I remember when I was younger, I was dealing with this promoter, me and my brother Paris Torian from Eiffel Life. And we went on this East Coast tour, right? And, you know, the tour was cool. Shout out to them. and they had us do a show in New York City. Now this is hometown, right? So once we were doing the show, they gave us a set time, and the set time kept getting pushed back. Now mind you, we have people there. We have people there. We have family members there. Like, you know, we just have a bunch of people coming to see us and represent for us because we're in our hometown. So the time just keeps getting pushed back. So I tell my brother, I'm like, yo, bro, like, if they push that time back again, I'm fed up. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he took me serious or not. I was serious as it can be. They push that time back again. Next thing you know, I'm looking for the promoter. Next thing you know, I got the promoter hemmed up on the wall. His legs is off the ground. I'm not proud of this. I'm not saying this is something that anybody should go through. You understand what I'm saying? But like, that was an obstacle right there for me to learn. And like, yo, look, you can't be putting your hands on people, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of how upset you are, you can't just go and put your hands on somebody. You know what I'm saying? That's the wrong thing to do, man. It's like, but again, I'm young. You know what I'm saying? I'm young, wild, and free, super young, wild, and free. So I'm not thinking about that. I'm just thinking about, listen, this man is not going to disrespect me in front of my friends, family, and my hometown. You know what I'm saying? Which shows like, yo, you don't have to have an ego. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't learn as a young man or a man that, hey, ego is not even needed, I just need to understand what I'm in or what I'm doing more and be more stern. And when you look at it that way, that's always the better approach, because, you know, that could have went another way. You know, did we get our money back after that? Yes. You know, did he wait to give us our money back? No. Was it because I ended him up? I don't know. But the thing was, you know, would I do everything differently? No, I'll do it the same because I was able to learn. But going forward, you know, that's something I had to learn. Like, listen, this is not something you do. This is something, you know, you want a better approach, regardless of how upset and how you're feeling. Your emotion is just your emotion. But this is still business. You know what I'm saying? So that was definitely one for sure to remember.
So would you say you've grown and evolved from that person as an artist, like that time?
Oh yes, most definitely, most definitely. Not even just for myself, but for others around me as well too, because I never walked around like I knew everything at that early age. But I was always a great listener. That's why I'm the person I am today. I was always a great listener, but I never just looked at anything and been like, yo, you're not gonna evolve from this. You know what I'm saying? I was never that hard on myself, you know, and I thank my younger self for that. Like I was never that hard on myself. I was always like, okay, well, I'm gonna be better today. You know what I'm saying? And that's what helped me evolve. Like, I wasn't trying to show how big my D is. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I just want to evolve. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to be better. You know what I mean? But that's what some guys fall short at. You know, they feel like they got to show it off all the time. And it's like, nah, it's only needed when it's needed. You know what I mean? And that's only for that. It's not even for this. See that? So, you know, evolving was always my main key, regardless of what was going on or how I went through things or what I went through. Evolving was always the next step for me. You know what I'm saying? I didn't like to dwell too much. Yeah.
Would you say that's something that sets you aside from other artists?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Like, for example, like even an artist that I started with years ago, right? Or just being around like my peers. 90% of them are not doing any music no more. Like, not even being creative. Like it's great to be a dad, a mom, right? But it's like, does that stop you from being you? Like, you know what I'm saying? For some people, I guess, teachers own. But I feel like when you having a kid, you would want your kid to be super inspired from their parent. Like, You know what I'm saying? Because if they're not inspired from their parent, they're gonna be inspired from outside. You know what I'm saying? And the best inspiration should come from in the home. You know, they shouldn't have to look outside for inspiration. Like, everything starts at home. Yeah.
So what do you hope your listeners take away from your music, man? Like, if there was like a key message through everything.
Very great question. Love yourself. Self-care is the best care. Never give up on yourself. Have faith stronger than losing. Even when you feel like you're losing, you're winning. And don't listen to no outside noise. Because the outside noise will deter you from who you really are and who you're truly meant to be. So make sure you're focused on the main objective, and that's creating your reality and making sure you're a deliberate creator. So that's what my music is telling everyone. My music isn't saying anything less. It's saying all of those things above. Like, and even no matter what you go through, you still keep pushing forward, because those emotions and those times are just temporary. They're never it's never an everlasting. It's never an everlasting moment. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they say, you know, live the moments and enjoy them, because they're not everlasting. So even if you know you're going through something, my music will show you and help you get through that, because I know music has done the same for me. And each artist, one thing I know, each artist has an agenda. I don't care who's it. Each artist has an agenda. So as consumers, that's how real it is, the light came on. As consumers, y'all should start asking the artist, hey, what's your agenda with your music? What's your agenda? You know what I'm saying? What is your agenda with your words? What are you creating with your words? You know what I'm saying? So we have to be mindful of what we're even listening to, because even for me, I don't listen to everything. I'm very mindful of what I listen to. I'm mindful of what I listen to. I'm mindful of who I keep around me. I'm mindful of who I'm talking to. I'm very mindful. So we can't talk about what's out there if we're not really checking what's out there. You know what I'm saying? So my music is just motivational. Motivational, great music. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to kill your brother. I'm not telling you to kill the person outside. You know what I'm saying? I ain't telling you to call your mom a bitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to do none of that. I'm not telling you to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you my experience of what I've been through and telling you, like, look, I am a prime example. You can get through it too. And you can do it too. Simple as that. Because I would never tell another man or another woman what to do. That ain't my business. You know what I'm saying? That's not me. But I am going to give you 100%, 100 million of me. That's a fact. You can bet your life on that.
Do you have any upcoming projects or anything that
oh yeah,
you're excited about and you want to tell the people?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna be so honest. I'm just very excited about this year. I'm excited about giving y'all this new music, this new energy, this new abundance, this new peace, you know, this new refreshment, you know, just new everything. Like, it's been a long journey as far as getting to this point, and there's so much more to do. So, you know, only God knows what the true plan is, you know, because we're planning, But only God know what the true plan is. Like, don't let me tell it. You know what I'm saying? But what I am gonna say is like, I'm just looking forward to the new abundance. This new abundance, I'm looking forward to it, and much more. That's a fact. Because the projects, the music, the fashion, the personality, y'all gonna receive it. Y'all gonna receive it. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's one person looking or 10 million, y'all gonna receive it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna receive it. So, and I'm telling you what it is, and that's what it is. Simple.
You have any plugs on where they can see it, like your Instagram?
Oh yeah,
YouTube?
most definitely. You could go to I am Naj Mahal on Instagram. I am Naj Mahal. YouTube, BetYaLife Records. YouTube, you could definitely go there as well too. Check out some clips, some reels, some of the things that we're doing. You can also check out Don't Let Me Tell It podcast as well too. We have that going on. We've been doing all of these things since 2020. I know some people may look at this and be like, yo, you got a podcast? But yeah, you know, there's many things that we were doing and many seeds we planted, you know, these past 3 years. So now that these trees have grown, now it's just time to, you know, reap the fruit of our labor. Simple.
All right, for the final question, how do you want to be remembered? As a musician or as a person or both?
As both, because I really feel that I'm very well balanced, and I take pride in that, you know, because I just don't think about myself. I always think about others as well too. I'm very mindful. I'm the most mindful person that I know, to be super honest, like that could keep so many people in mind. And with being an artist, it's the same way. Like, my artistry is just as important as the engineers. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's like, that has to be with one. That has to be one. In order for it to be what it need to be, it has to be synced. You know, it has to have a synchronization there, you know, just for it to flow like water, you know. And just to know, man, I was the first motherfucker to ever bet his fucking life. You heard? I was the first one to ever bet his life. The first one to ever say, I'm gonna bet my life. Ain't nobody else say that. So, remember me for me. Remember me for what I do. And just remember me that I bet my life. And you should too. Because you already do. Simple. Like, feel me? Come on, man.
You wanna give them your socials and stuff one more time?
Oh yeah, so you can find me at I am Naj Mahal on Instagram. You can find me at Naj Mahal on Facebook. You can find me at I am Naj Mahal on Twitter. BetYaLife Records YouTube. BetYaLife Records at YouTube, of course. And Don't Let Me Tell It podcast as well too. New episodes every week. So get in tune. Get in tune with everything that we're doing. New perfume, new merch, World Star Manufacturing, LYB Productions, new artists. Listen, it's amazing. God is great. Just gotta see the signs.
Do you have a day for the podcast? Do you know what day? Or is it still up in the air right now?
It's still up in the air, but by the time when this come out, we're still set on the Mondays.
Okay.
Mondays.
So Monday.
So every Monday at 7 p.m., you get a new episode of Don't Let Me Tell It podcast. Every Monday at 7 p.m. Every Monday at 7 p.m.
Cool. All right, it was good talking to you. Good interview.
Appreciate you, Kane. That's a fact. That's a
great.
big fact, man. Hey, yo, listen, hold on. Don't waste God's time, your time, and nobody else's time. Fact.
I have peace when the sun look at me. I have peace when I go to sleep. I have peace when the sun look at me. I have peace when I go to sleep. Success and wealth all in me.